Well, hello everybody and welcome back to Motorsport Manager. I hope everybody had a lovely Christmas period. We're going to be getting back going with this series then, after Dreyfus's his great performance last time out in Belgium. So we're going to be doing the run-up to the Munich Grand Prix. So we need to start by taking a look at the car. So we've got a gearbox in the works. We're currently working on improving some parts. We got quite a bit of mail. You got mail. Car condition, interview every single race for some reason. That seemed to be a very testing weekend for Marchetta. Why do we get the weirdest questions? I am right. It was last race at Marchetta. It's been a while since I recorded. It was last time Marchetta got fourth, wasn't it? I think so. I mean, he was great. I made some errors, I guess, if someone had to. Dreyfus struggled finishing down in 8th. Oh, Marchetta got a penalty. That was right, wasn't it, for the part? I remember now. She'll bounce back soon. We're doing well. I don't want to crash down too hard on anybody. Your attempts, I hate the way they word this, your attempts to pervert the wonderful purity of this great sport. I made a small error, okay. So we need to work, we need to make sure we work on replacing this part, because that's what we didn't do last time. So as soon as the gearbox we're making is finished, we need to work on a replacement. I need to work out which part it was. Hard fought win. Okay, continue. Somebody wants to leave, not bothered. We finished repairing the cars. We got a couple of new sponsor offers then on this slot 2. These are the fixed payment offers, so it doesn't matter what our performance is in the race, we get whatever they offer. Well, that's pretty obvious, isn't it? 150,000 at a race. Oh, offer expires in 2 races. Sorry, 6 races at 150,000 or 8 races at 500. So that's going to be 600,000 for 6 races. Much better offer all round. I don't mind that it drip feeds in. We'll get more money in the long run, so we'll definitely go for that. Right. So the new gearbox is finished. So we can design a new part now. Can we have a look at what we've got? Suspension's missing. So it was suspension that got banned. So we're going to need some better suspension to replace that banned part. What was the other one? There was the gearbox, which we've just built. Great gearbox. Where else are we lacking then? I mean, our engine could probably do some improvements, and to be honest, our suspension, but we're going to be building a new part there anyway. Okay, let's improve. Well, let's see how many parts we can build first. So we're going to need suspension. See, we can build a great suspension, but it's going to be risky, which I don't really want to try again. We can go for a slow build and get plus 40 to medium corners, plus 40 to max, or we can do it quicker but we'll lose reliability. So we'll go for that one, definitely. And let's build a spare suspension that's reliable and medium speed. That sounds good. Okay. I have an empty component slot. Oh, we can build 2 good ones. Oh, okay. Don't really need that then. This is another thing. Can we not build, like, double up on the parts? Can we not use these slots to build, like, gearboxes and stuff? If we go back and go on, say, gearbox, design new parts, gearbox. No, so we can only do it in the same category. Okay. Okay, we'll build 2 of those. Oh, we can build a risky great one. How much is that going to add to the cost? Nothing, really. We may as well build one, because I think that will improve our knowledge anyway, even if we don't use it. Because I don't really want to run the risk of running parts we might get demoted places for, because our car seems on the up, to be honest, so we want to continue that trend. I think that is everything for now. Got a long break, almost a month till the next race, so there should be plenty we can do. Scouting has finished on somebody. That's probably in my mail. Laura Ingledew. Laura would be one of the European Racing Series top drivers. She has a decent amount of potential, which should help us to see improvement in her skills. Strength of fitness, but her consistency is her biggest shortcoming. Okay. We've only got 2 complete, really. I thought we'd... Oh, there we go. Many more scouted. I don't know that we need to scout him anymore, to be honest, but we've got slots available, so we may as well. I'm looking for young drivers, to be honest, people that can stay with the team for a long time. Johnny Navarro, let's scout you. I have no reason to do that, but we're doing that. So improving currently the reliability on our 2 engines and the performance of an engine. We have got an engine slot available, but I've got a feeling if we add a performance improvement to, say, that engine, it actually speeds it up. How does that make sense? Oh, because it's changed the slider for some reason. 3 hours after... Really? 12 days after race. I mean, that's not going to get done either way. 2 days before race. Perfect. Okay. So we'll get improved performance on our engines before the race. That's Formula 1 Championship going on at Guildford. I don't know why they call it Guildford. I suppose it's supposed to be Silverstone, but Silverstone's absolutely nowhere near Guildford in England in real life, but whatever. Let's not dig too deep, shall we? Mail. Scouting reports finished on Cristiano Di Osti. Cristiano would be one of the better drivers in the European Racing Series. He still has some potential to improve too, which is great. Strength of feedback, has issues with his adaptability. Okay, definitely a promising prospect then. Nick Chu. Nick is an average driver in the European Racing Series. His potential is good though, and given the chance to improve, he would certainly become one of the better drivers in the championship. Fitness of strength, hard time with his cornering. Predicted to finish 13th, because of course he is in this championship. Okay, well we'll keep him on our radar, but not a likely candidate. Suspension is done then. So let's design. What do we want to design? Current part is great. Knowledge of Epic. I think we should we should probably do this using our head. Track guide. Acceleration crucial. Deceleration crucial. So everything is effectively crucial. So it doesn't really matter what we improve. Brakes, apparently we're still using our original brakes, so we should really improve that. We've only got 1 slot available because we haven't built anything yet. So we'll build... It's going to take us into the red, but we'll soon get it back. There doesn't seem to be too many penalties for being in the red. Which seems a bit strange, but I guess the chairman doesn't like it. We've got a couple of slots to continue recruiting. To continue scouting, sorry. Ellie Nightingale, a British driver. Sure. Is there still really no Canadians? Oh, there is a Canadian. 41. No. He'd have to be really, really good for us to take on a 41-year-old. Let's go with the youth again, shall we? Age, sorry. Edda Jonsdotter. Sure. Pet dog. What? Pay driver. Driver sponsor. I didn't know. I haven't clicked on these drivers yet. -20 to the mechanic relationship, and you get 249,000 for each. You can have paid drivers. I mean, I hate that concept in Formula 1, but actually as a team owner, that's pretty lucrative. I like the idea of that. Where's he gone? Oh, we've already shouted him. Okay. Johan Sylvander, sure. Okay, car. We're improving the parts. We're designing a new part. Right, let's continue. Alright, so our new brakes have finished. Scouting reports finished on Johnny Navarro. Johnny would be one of the very best drivers in the European Racing Series. On top of that, his potential is good and I can see him improving. Johnny's strength is consistency, but he has a hard time with his cornering. Okay. Well, we'll just keep adding these people to the scout lists, and if we do want a new driver at the end of the season, then we can make the decision. Christian West, very, very cheap. We'll see what he's like. We can now design another part then. So we've done the suspension, we've done the brakes. You know what? We should probably continue improving the brakes because we can get some good parts now. Acceleration, reliability, yep. And we'll build an average part as well while we're at it. We're getting really deep into debt here. We'll get it back. Let's get the car as high up the grid as we can, and hopefully we'll get payback from that investment at some point. And again, there doesn't seem to be too much of a problem with us being in debt. I don't think the chairman likes it too much, but that's not really a problem if we're getting the results, I would guess. Okay, we're nearly ready then for the Munich Grand Prix. I don't think anything else. The performance work is done. Designing of the brakes finishes just in time. What? Luigi Marchetta having an affair. Hi Jamie, I don't know if you're aware of this, but I'm pretty sure that Luigi is playing away from home, if you catch my drift. I saw him with his hands all over one of those celebrity types who hang around at the back of the paddock the other day. It doesn't really concern me, but I thought I would just let you know. Personality trait, having a secret affair, -2 focus. Okay, I mean, that certainly makes it a bit more interesting, but I don't really see how that has any effects on us, apart from his loss of focus, and there's not much we can do about it. Right. I think we'll go for Night 4 above. I don't see aiming for second or above. I mean, it's a really nice payoff, but I think it's pretty unlikely. It's going to be wet again, really. Ridiculous. Okay, let's do the cars then. So we'll start with brakes. We've got an average with low reliability. To be honest, the performance of that average, because it hasn't been improved yet, isn't really better than our originals, so we'll keep the originals on. We'll put the better brakes on Dreyfus's car. Marchetta will get the next best parts. Engine, both are very reliable, good and average. No real difference there then. The gearbox, we've got one good gearbox then, which we'll give to Marchetta, and we'll give the lower one to Dreyfus. Marchetta's still unsure. Oh, because he doesn't have suspension fitted. Yeah, he probably wouldn't be very happy with that. Suspension, it's a great suspension. I'm pretty sure that's the rules risk on that one. Well, we're going to have to run it on somebody. Otherwise we're going to have to put some original on. It's actually not that much better. I don't want to run the risk again, so I'm going to put the better one on. We'll give Dreyfus the better car this time. There won't be a massive difference between the two of them, but we gave Marchetta it last time, so we'll give Dreyfus the better car this time. Okay, I think we're good to go for practice. Okay, here we are in practice then. Assign the drivers their cars. Right, let's take a look at the setups. We get a rough idea. Let's put them sort of in the middle. I'd love to say that I know exactly what I'm doing with setups, but I'm just moving sliders. I have no idea what they're actually doing in the real world. We'll put them about middle of the mechanics recommendation. and we'll send them both out to see. Interestingly, Dreyfus has gone completely the opposite way on downforce. That could be, I don't know which mechanic is better. It could be because a difference in mechanics' opinions, or it could be that the drivers like different cars, and we'll send her out on the medium tyres. Okie doke. Let's get started for practice. Alright, we're going to send them both out just for single lap runs. Just see how the car feels for them. I'm going to have a dry practice session, but a very wet race again, unfortunately. It's a little bit irritating that we're getting so many wet races. It'd be nice to see where our pace is in a fully dry race. It also makes the strategy a bit less confusing. But it certainly keeps us on our toes, and we seem to be getting better results when it's wet. So, mind you, I don't think we've had a dry race since about the first race or two. A completely dry race, but anyway, a lot of new parts on the car this weekend, so hopefully we should be able to move a bit further forward in the grid. We're what are we on? About race 6 of I think 9. I think there's 9 races in this season, so we're over halfway. I need more responsive handling, says Dreyfus. Don't worry, we shall make sure you get it. Improve the handling. Well, it's just your shakedown lap, mate. Let's cool it for a little bit, shall we? Back in they come, and we'll see what they think of these setups. Right, Marchetta. 47%, not the best start in the world. Okay, let's go a bit less downforce. Not too much. Actually, it says very poor, so we'll go extreme one way. Put a bit more oversteer into the car. Speed balance, very poor. Let's go pretty drastically one way then, shall we? Let's go acceleration and oversteer. Let's try that and see what he thinks. Same tyres, doesn't really matter. Dreyfus. I did spot a great, so I think it's a bit 75%, much better start. Great downforce, poor handling, okay speed balance. So we want to keep that downforce roughly the same level. We'll try and move it a little bit maybe. Let's go for a bit more acceleration, a bit more oversteer. Let's try that. See what she thinks. Making the setup changes. We'll see what they think. It will be nice when it's longer practice sessions and we can properly attune the cars. Somebody doing some bad cooking in the house as the fire alarm goes off. I know it's not really a fire, but because people burn stuff quite often and we have a very temperamental fire alarm. So just bear with that till it shuts off. There we go. I don't even know if you heard it, but I certainly did. Right, yeah, longer practice sessions will be nice because we'll be able to actually compare lap times as well. That's what I used to love doing on the old games, is actually seeing how the setup changes affected lap times, as long as you don't come across traffic. That seems to affect lap times quite badly in practice. Any full flying laps we have done have been wildly different. But like now, when they're in completely clean air, when you got longer practice session, that's what you would aim for. Get them out in clean air, and you'll actually be able to compare the setups based on lap time. Looks like Dreyfus is a lot happier this time around. 85%, great, poor, great. Right, we want to keep speed balance and downforce roughly the same. We need to change that handling. I reckon we'll go a bit towards understeer. We need to get that acceleration back. We need to get that downforce back. There and there. That's about right, but with a lot more understeer, and we'll see how she gets on with that. She can put on some soft tyres. We'll give them running on the opposite tyres. Marchetta, let's see how he feels. 66, it's a big improvement, but he's still a long way off the pace. We really need to see where we went then. So we went more towards downforce. Let's try a bit more downforce then. Not too much. Handling, we'll go maybe a bit more understeer. We'll go a bit towards the top speed. And we'll send him out on the medium tyres. A bit worried about Marchetta's setup at the moment. It's quite a long way off the pace. Dreyfus definitely getting closer to that magic 90% number. That's what we really want to aim for. As long as they're somewhere in the 90%, then I think we've done a good job in practice. Let's just speed this up a bit, because I've got a feeling this episode's been a bit long compared to normal, and there's not too much to watch as they go round. We should get one, maybe two more setup changes. We'll definitely get two, including the one before the race. So let's just wait for them to come back into the pits, which they are doing now. Oh, I forgot to bring them in. That's... Yep, we only get one more setup change now then. Oops. Dreyfus wants the handling reverted, apparently. The aero setup is way better. So looks like we've gone backwards with Dreyfus and forward with Marchetta. We'll see for sure once they get back in. It's very strange with the setup when you get given a percentage, because I don't think there's many chances of a driver coming back in and going, yeah, that was about an 85% right there. But we've gone massively backwards with the setup. Handling very poor. So we want to go more towards oversteer then, I would guess. A bit more towards oversteer, and let's get that back there. Okay, let's try that. Marchetta, I think, is an improvement with him. 68, it's an improvement of 2%. Good, okay, very poor. What did we have before? Poor, poor, poor. Okay, so speed balance. Let's try and get the speed balance back to there. So more towards acceleration. We'll try putting maybe a bit more oversteer in the car. Let's try that. I think this is the last run we'll get to do, and then we'll be able to make one change before the race. Alright, they're both back out now. How's our knowledge doing? Not quite enough on the soft and medium tyres. I think we've shot ourselves in the foot maybe a little bit by keeping them out for too long. Race trim has gone over level 1 though, that's good. Sessions just aren't really long enough to get too much data. Marchetta thinks the handling feels a bit worse. Oh goody. Dreyfus coming back in. Right, we're not going to be able to make any more changes. She says great, great, great. Marchetta says good, poor, okay. So I think we've done a good job on one car. We're really going to be struggling on Marchetta's car by the look of it. But we will get a look at that before practice. But that is going to be this episode right there. It's going to be a very wet race again, so it should be a really interesting one on strategies. I would definitely not miss that. But it looks like Dreyfus is going to have the upper hand with her setup. Marchetta may well be struggling out there come Sunday. Didn't actually set a lap time the whole session. Just concentrating on that practice right there. But I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you're still enjoying this series. I'm definitely really enjoying this game still. If you've got any help or advice, of course, on car upgrades or scouted drivers, maybe things for next year, or just advice generally that I'm missing in the game, because there'll be a lot of people that are a lot further into the game than I am, I'm sure. Then do let me know down in the comments below if you've enjoyed this episode. Whack that like button, lets me know you're still enjoying it. And if you're new to the channel and like what you see, want to check out some more content, you can always hit that subscribe button as well. So should be Saturday for the race proper in Munich, so tune in then for that. But until then, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again very soon.
These battles have often been contained on single racetracks. Now, it's going global. The chosen chariot for this is the Red Bull 2016. Brilliant in the bends, but often hampered by its Renault engine. Lacking power on the...
Sorry? What do you mean? They make watches. Oh, okay.
Can they make up for the deficit on the streets with their Tag Heuer engine?
Sauber, a team that often I get confused as to whether they have overachieved or underachieved. A team of humble beginnings, founded by Peter Sauber in the 1970s. He would eventually work his way up the ladder to win back-to-back Le Mans races in 1988 and 1999 with the incredible Sauber Mercedes C9, a car that was relatively unchanged between the 2 years, such was its dominance. It was then that Peter Sauber decided to take a foray into Formula 1.